Hey beloveds, how are you doing? So I want to talk to you about something, and some of you may find this very somber, and I get that, but it's the truth. And I'm all about telling the truth, my truth, and the truth as I've seen it, the truth as I've experienced it. So I'm just going to go forward and we're just going to do this, okay? So I was having lunch with my spouse, and we were just talking about things, shooting the breeze and enjoying our time together. And I started telling him about my parents, about how I felt some grief for them because they never got the chance to retire. And it's one of my fears, and it's also one of my drivers. There's so much about my parents that I love and respect. There's so much about my parents that have just shown me how to be a better person, how to have a good heart. And they've just been my inspiration with so many things. And there's one thing that I don't want to be like my parents about. My parents never had a chance to retire, and I have sorrow for them because of that. I don't want to be like them when it comes to that. And so I'll kind of just tell you what happened. My mother, she was working in a hospital. She loved healthcare. She loved her work. And she was working in a hospital. And it started to happen every other month. She would end up in the emergency room of the hospital she worked at. And I would get a phone call and go down there, or my father would go down there, or whatnot. And we were worried about my mom. And then, so it started out maybe every other month, and then it became once a month, and then it was every other week, then it became once a week. And when it got to be once a week, my mom ended up just putting in her retirement papers because, her health and her situation, she was just working so hard, and she ended up pretty much being forced to retire. Because she just could not work anymore. Like I said, she would end up in the emergency room of the place she was working at, with her colleagues taking care of her. And she was finally like, wow, I guess I need to stop now. And that broke her heart because she loved her work, but, it was what she needed to do. So she retired. And shortly after she retired, we started to see signs of dementia for her. And so now my mother is in a senior home, and she's on the floor where they take care of the patients who have dementia and Alzheimer's and other kind of things. My mom, she imagined being able to retire. And by retire, I mean have that, time to travel and enjoy life without having to work, and just kind of do all those things you kind of hope to do at some point in your life. My mother went from working to pretty much, not having the opportunity to really do what we think is retirement before she got dementia, and it started to get progressively worse. So she didn't have that kind of just wonderful retirement that we fantasize about. Oh, I'm going to travel, I'm going to do this, I'm going to hang out. And, she didn't have that. She literally worked herself until she was too sick to work. And then she got sicker and ended up with dementia, and that was that. Now, my father, he was working in a healthcare setting as well. My father, he started out as a radiologist, actually, and he loved that. But then he had a call for addictions medicine. He liked to talk to patients a lot, and sometimes he would get in trouble for talking too much. But really, he just wanted to serve his patients when he was a radiologist, and he needed a certain amount of time to talk to them, to really understand what their needs were so he could serve them. But with the HMOs and administrators trying to tell the doctors what to do, they said, no, you're talking too much. You need to just diagnose and keep going. But he had a problem with that, so he continued to do medicine the way that was ethical to him. And and so there was some conflict. And then he ended up getting a call to do addictions medicine. And so that is what he did. He switched not careers, because he was still a doctor, but he switched from radiology to addictions medicine. And Oh my goodness, he loved that work. My father specialized in helping pregnant women deliver healthy babies, pregnant women who are addicted to uh, all kind of drugs. I remember talk of oxycontin something, and just so women who were addicted to prescription drugs and other kind of medications, helping them to have healthy babies who were not high on the drug and who were healthy and things like that. And so other addictions counselors and addictions doctors would refer their pregnant women to my father because he had such an awesome track record of taking good care of the mother, the pregnant woman, and a success rate with the babies being healthy. So he loved that work. It was his calling. He was at work and had a stroke. And he went to the hospital. He was transferred to another hospital. And so my father worked until he couldn't work anymore. He had a stroke. This was 5 years ago, 5 years, maybe 2 days ago. So pretty much 5 years exactly. He worked until he had a stroke, and that forced him out of the workforce. Did my father have the kind of retirement that it breaks my heart to talk about it. My father never had a chance to retire because he worked until he got sick. And so now, and we kept him home for many years, about 4.5 or 4 years with in-home caretakers. But he never got to retire. He never got to retire and have that, wonderful time off to travel and do whatever retired people do. And my heart breaks for him. My heart breaks for my mother as well. And I don't want that to happen to myself. And I don't want that to happen to you. Sometimes we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what's written in the stars for us. And to set your goals on, well, one day I'm going to retire. That day may never come. That day may never come. And so the gist of it is that live your life so that you can have a career that you enjoy, that allows you the flexibility to travel and have many retirements, that every year you're going somewhere or you're just doing what you want to do, following your passion. Don't wait until the end. Do it throughout, because that end may never come. That end may never come. And if I think about what happened in Texas to those 19 children and those 2 teachers, I hope that they lived the life that they had as best as they could. Tomorrow's not promised, regardless of what age you are. Life, we don't know what is around the corner for us. We don't know when our last day is. So what I'd like to share with you is that it's so important to live your life in the moment, think about the future, be strategic, but at the same time know that tomorrow's not promised, know that retirement, quote unquote, may never come. And so if that were to happen, would you say that you've enjoyed your life? Don't wait to do those things that bring you joy. Don't wait to follow your passion. Do it now. And if you're in a job that doesn't allow you off time to do what brings you joy, then that may not be the right job for you, because there may not come that just retirement. It just may not happen. I've seen it. We've all seen it. And so I just leave you with that. Okay?